More than 4 billion people live across Asia, and we are telling their stories. In this edition, tracking the journey of a herd of wild Asian elephants in China's Yunnan province. For months, they have been moving away from their original home. Where are they going? And how are authorities ensuring everyone's safety as the elephants move through populated areas? The Bosphorus Strait is one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. It's also home to bottlenose dolphins that are facing threats to their habitat.
More than 1,000 animals die every year due to this fishing.
Trekking over hills and valleys, traversing not just the wilderness, but also city streets. Sometimes seeking fun in the mud. This herd of wild Asian elephants continues with their epic journey in southwest China's Yunnan province. In March 2020, they set out from their natural habitat in Xishuangbanna, a tropical region bordering Laos and Myanmar. As they traveled further north, they passed through the cities of Pu'er, Honghe, and Yuxi, eventually reaching the outskirts of Kunming, the provincial capital, home to some 8 million people. The journey, which has spanned a distance of more than 500 kilometers, is probably the longest ever made by an army of elephants in China, with their final destination a mystery. The herd started with 16 members. 3 of them dropped out of the trip en route, while 2 babies have been born on the migration. The tour group is finally composed of 6 adult females, 3 adult males, 3 sub-adults, elephants aged 5 to 15 years, and 3 infants. In early June, 1 male broke from the group and wandered off on his own. Authorities along the elephants' migratory route are responding proactively to their movements in order to protect the safety of both the giants and residents. A special command center has been set up, which deploys a dozen drones to keep round-the-clock tabs on the elephants. For the drone operators, their mission is rife with challenges, especially on rainy days.
在这种情况下，第一个是我们无人机难以不能起飞，只能通过人工搜索的方式进行，而山地又比较陡了，人工也很难以上去，寻找效率比较低。
Heavy machinery also plays an important role to prevent the tuskers sneaking out to populated areas. Hundreds of trucks and excavators have been mobilized every day to form roadblocks. Another important daily routine, preparing tons of food in an effort to minimize the elephants' disturbances in local communities, and at the same time to bait them into turning back.
期望它往普洱、往版纳方向移动，这样移动呢，就是它能回到原来的栖息地。这是我们最理想的一种状态。
The presence of the creatures has aroused the curiosity of local villagers. Most of the time, they are alerted and evacuated when necessary. With beefed-up mirrors, the good news is no conflict has happened between the jumbos and humans. But in some cases, the naughty neighbors have been a nuisance. They've raided farmlands, gorging on crops including corn, paddy rice, and sugarcane, all on their list of favorites. Water is also a necessity. When tap water fails to quench their thirst, they come up with other options, like this or this. They've also poked their trunks through villager stores, helping themselves to food and leaving great messes. But locals have shown much tolerance to the giants.
大象也饿了，它也不是够日的。
咱这农村人说的就那庄稼吧，种不好了就一发，这一茬晒不了那下茬了，这东西没了就没了。
So far, the herd has caused economic losses worth millions of yuan. Officials say they will not turn a blind eye.
对沿途已造成的财产损失，及时督促相关保险公司启动野生动物公众责任保险定审赔付工作，最大限度是保障人民群众的合法利益。
Over the past few months, these elephants have generated quite a lot of online buzz. They've become almost like contestants on a reality TV show, as their every move is shared on social media. A local songwriter even wrote a tune about the herd. Many people say they're also learning quite a lot about how elephants go about their daily lives. For example, many netizens have said they never knew elephants slept lying down and not standing up. They even got to learn how a mother elephant would react if her child fell into a ditch. The wandering herd has also captured the attention of global media.
A herd of elephants.
中国メディアによりますと、昨日も一斉に
Most of them are impressed by China's gentle treatment of the animals. The unprecedented migration has triggered heated debate over the reasons behind it. But researchers point out that all discussions should be based on one fact: migrating for food is an instinct of the species. To get a clearer picture on the issue, we travel to where the herd used to live. I'm here in Xishuangbanna, the largest habitat of Asian elephants in China. Behind me is one of the nature reserves in this tropical prefecture. Before their unexpected trek, the herd of elephants inhabited dense forests just like this. Xishuangbanna boasts the country's largest area of rainforest. As early as 1958, a nature reserve was established here to protect the region's unique biodiversity. Over the past few decades, more reserves have been zoned, taking up more than 20% of the total area of the prefecture. Conservation efforts have allowed Asian elephants to prosper in China, with their population growing from about 170 in the 1980s to some 300 today. Now, the animal can also be found in the cities of Pu'er and Lincang. This has inevitably caused a problem: growing demand for living space and food. Even though their habitat has become replete with leafy green arbor trees, experts say this is not what the animals need.
这亚洲象它需要的栖息地，并不是一个森林植被特别茂密的一个栖息地。也通过这么多年的管理，保护区里面的栖息地，那个植被越来越茂密，然后它导致它过去它喜欢的一些，比如说一些草地、一些灌木林，已经逐渐消失了。就说对其他的一些动物可能这个好处，比如说我们说的一些以野果为食的一些鸟类啊，它可能它的食物会增加。 但作为亚洲象这个物种，它的食物是在减少的。
Since their great appetites for plants like wild plantains and tiger grass can be easily satisfied, they've gradually sought out a good bargain, consuming crops in human habitats, which costs much less time but provides a lot more nutrients. And this is considered a major motive behind the herd's northbound long march.
可能一直没有找到一个比较理想的一个栖息场所，啊，他不知道前面到底是个什么情况， 可能觉得前面可能会更好吧，他就一直这么走。
Over the years, as the elephants have increasingly intruded on neighborhoods, conflict has been unavoidable. In some encounters with the creatures, people haven't just lost property, but also their lives. This is a common phenomenon in countries where elephants reside. Research conducted by Beijing Normal University shows that between 2013 and 2019, direct economic losses from elephant-triggered damage in China reached some $30 million. But herein lies the question for local governments. How can conservation of the endangered species be balanced with protecting people's well-being? Early warnings based on close monitoring have proven an effective approach to shun the tusked visitors.
周围有野象出没，请大家注意安全，不要在田地逗留。
Another simple yet practical experiment is fencing off human settlements in risky areas.
17年的时候，因为保护局这边给我们做这个大象防护栏工程，然后的话做完以后的话，大象就进不到村子里面来了，然后我们生活的也会很放心。
But either eluding or obstructing is not a fundamental way out. Some cities are now experimenting with growing plants or crops in designated areas, a project that's been dubbed the Elephant Canteen. It's hoped this might mitigate their impact on people's lives. These efforts are easing tensions. Many locals now have mixed feelings about their giant neighbors.
以前刚开始的时候，经常吃了庄稼的话，会有点不高兴啊。但是因为有了这个大象，就像然后野象谷嘛，我们好多村民都在这边上班，就是因为有了这个大象以后，才有了这个就业的机会。
For some, their love towards the animals has only grown. They always lend a helping hand when the jungle mammals are in trouble. This rescue center in Xishuangbanna now keeps some 10 elephants rescued from the wild. All were injured or deserted. Here, the keepers, who call themselves elephant dads, take care of the creatures as if they were their own children.
我对大象有一种特殊的情怀，因为每天一上班之后看到这群当年在死亡边缘的这些大象，然后今天能够在这里摇头晃脑，对吧？很高兴的在迎接你的时候，心里面有一种幸福感，以及一种叫成就。
As there's more effort made to diffuse conflict and conserve the species, some researchers say people also need to seriously reflect on the herd's unusual migration.
我觉得应该就是整个社会都需要考虑这个问题，就是我们怎么把亚洲象的栖息地能够建得更好。如果能够尽快的建立亚洲象国家公园，那个应该来说是一个比较好的一个途径。
Creating national parks is China's latest attempt to protect the environment, which means larger space for wildlife and more effective modes of management.
保护区呢，它不是专门为大象保护的，还包括像孔雀啊，或者是野牛啊，或者是很多其他物种，包括万天树啊，对吧？它保护的是整个森林生态系统。那么我们说的庄内的保护地，就是说，比如说亚洲象的国家公园。 那么这种形式呢，可以就是说把范围画得大一些，就是说有一些不在保护区的一些地段，比如说一些天然林、一些国有林，或者是老百姓的一些耕地，我们可以把它就规划起来，给它足够的生存空间。
Having trudged for more than a year, people are expecting the wandering animals to go back home as early as possible. On July 7th, the elephant separated from the rest was tranquilized and safely sent back, as its presence was posing a danger to public safety. But experts say the remaining animals can't be treated in the same way, as it's too risky for both the giants as well as human beings. and that a gentle approach is still the priority. There's relief that the herd looks to be moving southward, but it could take months for them to return home.
要翻越一些天然的一些屏障，比如说要过红河，要过这些大的这些山系河流，它可能就会受到一些阻拦。
With the protective measures in place, the roaming creatures are expected to stay safe and sound, and the baby elephants grow healthily and happily. What awaits them in future is hopefully a better homeland, where they can coexist harmoniously with humans. Yang Jinghao, CGTN, in Yunnan Province.
Up next, every day, the Bosphorus Strait in Turkey is bustling with activity. But all that action is threatening the lives of one important resident, bottlenose dolphins. What's being done to protect these animals?
They have been kind of neglected or ignored. That's why we call them the street children of the strait.
The Bosphorus Strait is where two continents meet and one city splits. It divides the Turkish city of Istanbul into the European and the Asian side. Millions of residents and thousands of ships cross the strait daily, making it one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. Despite this traffic, Bosphorus Strait is also home to a surprising community. Bottlenose dolphins. For many crossing the waterway, spotting a dolphin is a blissful moment to look forward to. Dr. Ayaka Ozturk, a Japanese marine biologist, works with her team at the Turkish Marine Research Foundation to study these playful and intelligent mammals, which she thinks are not protected enough.
I would say, even though they are really, bright, fun animals, very clever animals, and they can be good friends to humans, but they have been kind of neglected or ignored. That's why we call them the street children of the strait.
The Bosphorus is home to the bottlenose and common dolphin, as well as harbor porpoises. Their numbers are unknown, as experts believe there aren't stable residents, but rather dolphins that come and go in search of food. The shape of the Bosphorus is a natural trap for fish, making it the perfect feeding ground for dolphins. Ayhan Dede, a member of Dr. Ozturk's team, stresses that dolphins are a critical piece of the ecosystem.
Deniz ekosisteminde yunusların olmaması demek, o denizde başka sorunların varlığına işaret eder. Dolayısıyla yunuslar anahtar tür olarak da tanımlanır, gösterge tür olarak da tanımlanır. Bir yerdeki varlıkları o bölgenin bize biraz sağlığını, oradaki deniz ekosisteminin sağlıklı işlediğini gösteriyor aslında.
The vibrant Bosphorus has an abundance of food for dolphins, but the problem is they're not the only ones hunting. At dawn, Istanbul's fishermen get ready to set sail. A team of men prepare the nets as they cruise into the waters of the Bosphorus, hoping to catch their share. a share that has been dwindling due to overfishing. Despite repeated calls by academics and NGOs over the years, the Turkish government has not imposed a fishing quota.
There should be a strict control over fisheries. And I'm not saying that the fishermen shouldn't catch fish, but they shouldn't go into any illegal fisheries, unreported fisheries. They should always report the amount they catch.
Önder Sarı, who has fished all his life, is also frustrated for the same reasons.
Tabii kaçak avlanmak da var. Kaçak yani trolcusu da var, gırgırcısı da var, yasak yerler var mesela. Bunlara saran da var, uyan da var. Ama diyelim ki %10'u uyuyor, 90'ı uymuyor.
Önder believes illegal fishers are part of the problem. He says they also hunt in banned areas that are significant for breeding, creating an issue of sustainability.
Devlet balıkçıya sahip çıkması lazım. Kotasını koyacak, koruma kontrollerini iyi yapacak. İyi yaptıktan sonra sen şimdi buraya gelip sardıktan sonra sana adam 20 milyar, 30 milyar ceza yazarsa sen bir daha o şeyi yapabilir misin? Yapamazsın.
Turkey has fishing restrictions and bans fishing across the country from mid-April until September. But Dr. Ozturk believes it's not enough.
We also have to regulate the size of the fish that they're catching, because as you know, in many cases they catch a lot of small fish just before the fish start reproduction. So we should control those kind of fisheries so that both humans and dolphins can utilize the limited resource.
But food shortage is not the biggest threat to the dolphins.
The animals accidentally get entangled in the fishing net. Fishing net is for catching fish, but the dolphins also get entangled, and while fish survive because they don't have to come up to the surface to breathe, the dolphins do need to come up to the surface to breathe like humans. So when they get caught in the nets, they eventually drown and die. Especially the harbor porpoises are very vulnerable to this turbot fishing in particular. We estimated more than 1,000 animals die every year due to this fishing.
Istanbul is home to about 15 million people. And that's also a source of pollution for the Bosphorus Strait.
When the plastics get in the water, they broken into very small pieces, what we call microplastics, and they get into fish. First plankton and fish, and then eventually to dolphins. They actually attract a lot of bad things in the water. So when microplastic itself is a very small thing, but it absorbs a lot of other things around it, and it becomes very toxic.
On its part, the Turkish government is working to keep the Bosphorus clean. Every day, 8 cleaning vessels scan through the waters to collect waste.
Sadece İstanbul'u temizlemiyoruz, bütün dünyanın çöpünü temizliyoruz. Çünkü çöp karadaki gibi çöp değildir. Denize attığımız bir atık yarın bir gün farklı ülkelerde de sürükleneceği için evrenseldir. Sadece İstanbul'a ve Türkiye'ye değil, uluslararası bir iş yaptığımız için bütün dünyanın çöpünü temizliyoruz.
Also important are measures taken to prevent contamination by the thousands of ships that cross the Bosphorus.
Eğer denize kirli deşarj, sintine, slop, sludge, pis su ve çöp atıklarını bıraktıkları takdirde bu gemilere ceza işlem uyguluyoruz.
For Alturan, catching sight of a dolphin during working hours is one of the most delightful parts of the job.
Biz denizde temizlik yaparken sanki onlar da denizimizi temizliyor bu gemiler diyerek bize bir sevgi gösterisinde bulunuyorlar. Bizle beraber bir yarış halindeler. Bu da bizi çok mutlu ediyor. Yaralı bazen yunus balıkları gördüğümüz oluyor. Bunlarla ilgili İstanbul Büyükşehir Belediye'mizin veteriner hizmetleri, hayvan sağlığı hizmetleri var. Bu tür durumlarda gene konvör bantımızda yunusun ön tarafından alarak veteriner hizmetlerini çağırarak bunlara sağlık hizmetleri de veriyoruz.
Turkey is signatory to international treaties that aim to protect sea mammals like dolphins. Much of Dr. Ozturk's team's effort goes to that effect.
Hayvanların biyolojilerini, biyoekolojilerini, çevreleriyle olan ilişkilerini iyi anlamamız gerekiyor. Dolayısıyla yaptığımız çalışmalar bu doğal süreçleri anlamaya ve onlar için daha uygun koruma stratejilerini oluşturmaya hizmet edecek verileri oluşturmak.
And one important piece of data, sound. Once a month, the team retrieves a hydrophone from the waters to analyze the sounds it has recorded. Sounds that can help them understand the behavioral patterns of the Bosphorus dolphins.
Islıkları daha çok sosyalleşirken kullanıyorlar. Fakat ekolokasyon sinyallerini yön bulmak, işte bir yerden bir yere seyahat ederken yönünü bulmak veya avlanırken avladığı balığın yönünü, hızını tespit etmek, büyüklüğünü tespit etmek vesaire. Bunlar için kullanıyor.
Over the years, the acoustic data collected by Dr. Ozturk's team showed them that the dolphins' activity levels and behavior differed depending on their location.
Burada boğazın dar olduğu bir geçiş zonu. Bu bölgede yunuslar daha çok geçiş yapıyorlar. Fazla vakit geçirmiyorlar. Fakat boğazın kuzeyinde daha sakin bir koyda, Poyrazköy'ün orada yunuslar 24 saatlerini geçiriyorlar. Oradaki koylarda kıyıda yerleşim yok. Daha sakin bölgeler ve hayvanlar orada yavru bakımı yapıyor, emzirme yapıyor, sosyalleşme davranışlarında bulunuyorlar, oyun yapıyorlar.
The team is also trying to get the community involved by getting them to upload photos of dolphins they've spotted to help Dr. Ozturk track and understand the dolphins better.
This interclick interval, what they call it. This will show you the intensity of the vocalization.
And fortunately for many sightseers, some dolphins still call these waters home, despite the troubles brewing within. Michal Bardavid for Assignment Asia in Istanbul.
Follow us on social media to contribute story ideas and share your thoughts.